Hello everyone and welcome to another R&R Partners video. Today we are going to speak about 5 things that you should know before renting an apartment in Romania. If you are new to the channel and you're interested in immigrating to Romania, or you're interested in knowing more about company law in Romania, please consider subscribing to our channel as we post new content each and every other week. So in this video we are going to talk about moving to Romania and renting a place in Romania. What are some things that you might take into consideration before putting your pen on the paper and signing to rent an apartment? First thing and most important, speak with the landlord before you sign the contract and mention that you will probably need the lease agreement to register the contract and your residency at the immigration authority. This is especially valid for non-EU citizens, as you need to present a copy of the lease agreement where you will be staying and the fact that the landlord is allowing you to stay there. I'm saying this as many landlords either do not register the contract, or when you mention that, they want an increased fee. So in order to not have any difficulties in the relationship with the landlord, mention that beforehand, that you need the contract to be registered with the tax authority. And even if you're not a non-EU citizen, do note that this will protect you against an eventual eviction. Second thing that you need to take into consideration is to know who you are speaking with. There are many times when we had clients entering and stating that they have a contract, but unfortunately it was not with the landlord. It was either with a friend who was taking care of the apartment while the landlord was away, or with a relative of the landlord. So in order to not have any problems down the road, make sure that you are renting from the landlord. How can you do this? Well, first and most important is to ask for the deed of the property. The deed is the sale purchase agreement. So in Romanian that would be contract de vânzare-cumpărare. You'll need to check that the person who is leasing the property to you is the same person who shows on the deed. If it's not the same person, please ask for a power of attorney, so you know that the person who is leasing the apartment to you has the right to do so. If you're in the situation of taking a lease on your first apartment and you want to know that you have all your bases covered, do note that you can always book a consultation with us, and within an hour or two we can also look over the document and see if you have any problems with the lease, what are the things that you must discuss with the landlord, and what you will need to do in order to not have any problems with the landlord. Third is to document the condition in which you find the apartment before renting it. For example, there are many contracts in which the condition of the apartment is poorly written, and at the end of the contract you may need to refund more than necessary to the landlord, or you will not get back your deposit. So a well-documented contract would need to have a separate page, usually in which all the pieces of furniture are written down, and eventually if they have any problems or show any signs of wear and tear. However, do note that at the end of a lease agreement, and you should check that in the contract, usual wear and tear is accepted. Fourth is to know that in Romania all the utilities are not included in the rent. And also you will need to read, write and declare all the utilities that you are using for the apartment and every other procedure in order to be billed accordingly by the providers. So maybe you will have water meters that you will need to read and submit. You'll have electricity meter that you will need to read and submit, and probably gas meters. At the end of the month, there are certain time frames when you can read them and submit them, and if you do not do that, the landlord will not do it for you and you'll have to compensate this in time. Last but not least, try to get a feeling about the landlord. I cannot stress enough how important this is, and make sure to see if he ever had other foreign expats who are staying at his place. See what his level of English is, as a good communication with the landlord will save you precious time and energy, and everything will come together much faster in this way. Also, it's great to know if he had previous tenants. If he had previous tenants, speak with him and see if there are certain things that they've done which upset him, so you know either if there's something that will cause tensions between you and the landlord. And you should also have some general guidance. For example, small repairs in the house according to the Romanian law are done, all of them, by the tenant. However, some of them consider a small repair changing the lock on the door, others consider it just changing a bulb. Our recommendation would be in these cases to set a fixed amount. If a reparation is above a certain threshold, it should be supported by the landlord. If it's under a threshold, you need to support it as the tenant. If you found the content useful, we would appreciate if you hit the like button, as it helps out the channel and it also will help out other expats who are in need of some friendly advice about entering a lease agreement. So thank you for watching, and until next time, do note that you can follow us on Instagram or Facebook. See you soon and have a great day. Bye.